at issue in these proceedings, which comprises more than 2/3 of Guyana. End of quotation. In accordance with the usual practice, I shall not read the introductory paragraphs of the order, which set out the procedural history of the case. I shall also omit or summarize some other paragraphs. I shall accordingly begin the reading of the order at paragraph 13. The full text of the order will, of course, be available at the close of the sitting. The court begins by recalling that it already set out in its two judgments in the present case the general background and context of the dispute between Guyana and Venezuela, which dates back to a series of events that took place during the second half of the 19th century, when Guyana was still a British colony known as British Guyana. At that time, the United Kingdom and Venezuela both claimed the territory located between the mouth of the Essequibo River on the east and the Orinoco River to the west. In 1897, an arbitral tribunal was established to settle the boundary between British Guyana and Venezuela. In its 1899 award, the arbitral tribunal granted the entire mouth of the Orinoco River and the land on either side to Venezuela. It granted to the United Kingdom, in respect of British Guyana, the land to the east extending to the Essequibo River. Between November 1990 and June 1904, a joint Anglo-Venezuelan commission demarcated the boundary established by the 1899 award. On 10 January 1905, after the boundary had been demarcated, the British and Venezuelan commissioners produced an official boundary map and signed an agreement accepting inter alia the coordinates of the points listed were correct. On 14 February 1962, Venezuela informed the Secretary General of the United Nations that it considered there to be a dispute between itself and the United Kingdom concerning the demarcation of the frontier between Venezuela and British Guyana. The government of the United Kingdom, for its part, rejected that contention, asserting that the question had been finally settled by the 1899 award. After various attempts to resolve the matter failed, the representatives of the United Kingdom, Venezuela, and British Guyana signed the Geneva Agreement on 17 February 1966. On 26 May 1966, Guyana, having obtained independence, became a party to that agreement. Attempts were made in the ensuing decades to resolve the dispute through different means of settlement envisaged in the Geneva Agreement, all of which failed, leading the Secretary General of the United Nations in January 2018 under the Geneva Agreement to choose the court as the means to resolve the dispute. Having recalled this general background, the court then turns to the requirements for the indication of provisional measures. With respect to the question of jurisdiction, the court observes that it may indicate provisional measures only if the provisions relied on by the applicant appear, at least prima facie, to afford a basis on which its jurisdiction could be founded. In the present case, the court has already found in its 2020 judgment that it has jurisdiction to entertain the application filed by Guyana on 29 March 2018, insofar as it concerns the validity of the 1899 award and the related question of the definitive settlement of the land boundary dispute between Guyana and Venezuela. The court further recalls that in its 2023 judgment, it found that it could adjudicate upon the merits of the claims of Guyana insofar as they fell within the scope of the operative clause of the 2020 judgment. The court then proceeds to consider the other requirements for the indication of provisional measures. It follows the court must be concerned to preserve by such measures the rights which may subsequently be adjudged by it to belong to either party. Therefore, the court may ascertain this power only if it is satisfied that the rights ascertained by a party requesting provisional measures are at least plausible. At this stage of the proceedings, however, the court is not called upon to determine definitively whether the rights which Guyana seeks to protect exist It need only decide whether the rights claimed by Guyana on the merits and for which it is seeking protection are plausible. Moreover, a link must exist between the rights whose protection is sought and the provisional measures being requested. The court observes that Guyana contends that it seeks the preservation and protection of its right to the territory awarded to it by the 1899 award, pending the court's determination of the validity of that award and to the integrity of its territory, or alternatively, its right to the settlement by the court of the land boundary between Guyana and Venezuela. The court recalls its finding in the 2020 judgment that a land boundary dispute exists between the parties. It further observes that the territory which forms the object of that dispute was awarded to British Guyana in the 1899 award. In light of the foregoing, the court considers that Guyana's right to sovereignty over the territory in question is plausible. The court then turns to a requirement of a link between the rights claimed by Guyana that the court has found to be plausible and the provisional measures requested. The court observes that one of the provisional measures requested by Guyana seeks to ensure that Venezuela does not, I quote, take any control over any territory that was awarded to British Guyana in the 1899 award, end of quotation. The court considers that this measure is aimed at protecting Guyana's right, which the court has found plausible. The court concludes, therefore, that a link exists between the rights claimed by Guyana that the court has found to be plausible and the aforementioned requested provisional measure. The court next notes that, pursuant to Article 41 of its statute, it has the power to indicate provisional measures when irreparable prejudice could be caused to the rights which are subject of judicial proceedings, or when the alleged disregard of such rights may entail irreparable consequences. However, the power of the court to indicate provisional measures will be exercised only if there is urgency, in the sense that there is a real exists at this stage of the proceedings. The court is not called upon, for the purposes of its decision on the request for indication of provisional measures, to reach a decision on either party's position on the merits, but to determine whether the circumstances require the indication of provisional measures for the protection of the rights found to be plausible. It cannot at this stage make definitive findings of facts, and the right of each party to submit arguments in respect of the merits remains unaffected by the court's decision on the request for the indication of provisional measures. Having previously determined that Guyana's right to sovereignty over the territory awarded to British Guyana by the 1899 award is plausible, and that there is a link between this right and one of the provisional measures requested, the court turns next to the question whether irreparable prejudice could be caused to this right and whether there is urgency, in the sense that there is a real and imminent risk that irreparable prejudice will be caused to this right before the court gives its final decision. The court recalls that the fifth question of the referendum refers explicitly to the creation of the Guyana Essequibo state, as well as an accelerated and comprehensive plan to be developed for the granting of Venezuelan citizenship and identity cards to the population of that territory, consequently incorporating the Guyana Essequibo state into the map of Venezuelan territory. The court further observes that Venezuela's Supreme Tribunal of Justice has confirmed the constitutionality of the questions to be posed in the referendum. The court notes that Venezuela stated during the oral proceedings that it will not turn its back on what the people decide in the referendum of 3 December 2023. On 24 October 2023, the president of Venezuela, Mr. Nicolás Maduro Moros, publicly stated that the referendum would give Venezuelans, for the first time, the means to take Adriana Lopez made appeal to go to combat with reference to the territory in question. Furthermore, Venezuelan military officials announced that Venezuela is taking concrete measures to build an airstrip to serve as, I quote, logistical support point for the integral development of the Essequibo, end of quote. The court considers that in light of the strong tension that currently characterizes the relations between the parties, the aforementioned circumstances present a serious risk of Venezuela acquiring and exercising control and administration of the territory in dispute in the present case. It therefore concludes that there is a risk of irreparable prejudice to the right claimed by Guyana in the present proceedings that the court has found plausible. The court further considers that Venezuela's expressed readiness to take action with regard to the territory in dispute in these proceedings at any moment following the referendum scheduled for 3 December 2023 demonstrates that there is urgency, in the sense that there is a real and imminent risk of irreparable prejudice to Guyana's plausible right before the court gives its final decision. The court concludes from all of the aforementioned considerations that the conditions for the indication of provisional measures are met. It is therefore necessary, pending its final decision, for the court to indicate certain measures in order to protect the plausible right claimed by Guyana as identified by the court. The court recalls that it has the power, under its statute, when a request for provisional measures has been made, to indicate measures that are in whole or in part other than those requested. In the present case, having considered the terms of the provisional measures requested by Guyana and the circumstances of the case, the court finds that the measures to be indicated need not be identical to those requested. The court observes that the situation that currently prevails in the territory in dispute is that Guyana administers and exercises control over that area. The court considers that, pending the final decision in the case, Venezuela must refrain from taking any action which would modify that situation. The court emphasizes that the question of the validity of the 1899 award and the related question of the definitive settlement of the land boundary dispute between Guyana and Venezuela are matters for the court to decide at the merits stage. The court recalls that Guyana has requested it to indicate measures aimed at ensuring the non-aggravation of the dispute with Venezuela. When indicating provisional measures for the purpose of preserving specific rights, the court may also indicate provisional measures with a view to preventing the aggravation or extension of a dispute when it considers that the circumstances so require. In the current case, having considered all the circumstances, in addition to the specific measure that it has decided to take, the court deems it necessary to indicate an additional measure directed at both parties and aimed at ensuring the non-aggravation of the dispute between them. The court recalls that its orders indicating provisional measures under Article 41 of the statute have binding effect and thus create international legal obligations for any party to whom the provisional measures are addressed. I shall now read out the operative part of the order. For these reasons, the court indicates the following provisional measures. 1, unanimously. Pending a final decision in the case, the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela shall refrain from taking any action which would modify the situation that currently prevails in the territory in dispute, whereby the Cooperative Republic of Guyana administers and exercises control over that area. 2, unanimously, both parties shall refrain from any action which might aggravate or extend the dispute before the court or make it more difficult to resolve. I shall now call upon the registrar to read the operative paragraph part of the order in French.
Par ces motifs, la Cour suivante 1.
For these reasons, the court indicates the following provisional measures unanimously. Pending a final decision in the case, the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela shall refrain from taking any action which would modify the situation that currently prevails in the territory in dispute, whereby the Corporate Republic of Guyana administers and exercises control over that area. 2, unanimously, both parties should refrain from any action which might aggravate or extend the dispute before the court or make it more difficult to resolve.
Declaration to the order of the court. Judge Robinson appends a separate opinion to the order of the court. Judge Ad hoc Couvreur appends a separate opinion to the order of the court. The text of the order is available from today in typescript. It will be available shortly on the court's website. The printed text will be available in due course. As the court has no further business before it today, I declare the sitting closed.
Not a blade of grass. We love the open country, the Roman way. The secret book, the time and night. We made 50 century. This is a home we love. And we need to keep it. We have that right. No, we ain't giving up no money. We ain't giving up no tree. We ain't giving up no river. Not a blade of grass. Not one golden.
Certainly not a blade of grass. You just heard there. One of the things that we got to be thankful for, we've got to be thankful for a sensible government that we had under the coalition, the wisdom of those folks under the coalition, the brilliance of those folks under the coalition to take this matter to the ICJ. If this matter was not at the ICJ, then you know what would have happened, right? Venezuela would have gotten all manner of stupid threats and planes and incursions and all these manner of things. But because of the wisdom of the coalition, can we just say thank you to the coalition for making this possible? Thank you to the coalition. These folks in the PPP regime, Jack Dio and Irfan and those vagabonds, they have no sense. They cannot see further than any sort of corrupt practices. That's what they are about. Corruption, corruption, corruption. But we are witnessing this here. We are witnessing the victory as a result of the wisdom of the coalition government. That's why we are where we are today. Good morning. My name is Mark Benshop, and you just saw there live in The Hague, the International Court of Justice, live coverage on Venezuela. And the court ruled just now, moments ago, that Venezuela should desist. They should stop provoking Guyana. Look, right now, if I was in Guyana, I would have been at that border, whether it was a slingshot, a cutlass, whatever, because we've got to be brave when confronting that madman Maduro. Any provocative action by Maduro can be deemed in breach of the court. This guy Maduro should be charged. Any provocation and any Guyanese that is hurt, any Guyanese that's hurt, it's going to be big bacchanal. Any real Guyanese that's hurt. Of course, we don't come to a couple of them who just flew off and gone to where is it they gone? Dubai, enjoying themselves, robbing, thieving from the nation. That's what they do. But thanks again. Thank you. Say thank you to the coalition. Some of y'all could cuss the coalition, as sometimes we did when they were in office. They did some stupid things, but they did a heck of a lot of good things. This is one. Yeah, sorry about that. Listening to that decision there, how proud are you guys? How proud are you guys? I noticed Mr. Ben Saab, is saying they're all about lining their pockets by any means necessary. Corruption upon corruption. That's the PPP. Now they're going to want to jump and say, oh, it's not a wisdom of Anil. You guys ever listen to Anil? It's like he's fighting up to sound bright. It's like, you know, listening to Anil is like drinking Senapad or something like that, or salt, Epsom salt. You know, or watching a Chinese karate thing. You're always like, you fighting up, and it's like, come on, get it over with. It's a happy day. It's a happy day. Guyana, the court has ruled basically on the side of Guyana, and send that message to Maduro to stop that referendum. Do not do anything to provoke the situation, anything at all. But guess what? Even in the face of this positive ruling by the court, Irfan Ali is out enjoying himself. Jack Deere is out enjoying himself. Yeah, the illegal referendum. I noticed somebody said Guyanese start buying, was it buying Venezuelan flag? Come on, whoever is that person, get lost. Buy Venezuelan flag for what? Buy Venezuelan flag for what? Let us hope that those military men in Venezuela don't take over control of the country and remove Maduro. You never know what can happen, guys. You never know what can happen. Maduro is stretching this thing. That's how madmen, when they're in power, they behave. We have our own share of madmen right now in Guyana. Jack Deere, Irfan Ali, just mad and corrupt individuals. All right, so that was the court's ruling. That was the court's ruling, and it is what it is. Let me see some of your comments there. Let me see some of your comments. Sorry about that. Yep. Let me see some of your comments. I'm reading. You guys are all happy about this whole ruling, which is good. It's a good thing, and congratulations. I noticed that the Minister of Health flew all the way to The Hague with taxpayers' money. What is the so-called Minister of Health, Frank Anthony, sitting there in the court? Can somebody explain to me? That is how these people find a way, especially at this time, to be out of the country. What is the Minister of Health, Frank Anthony, sitting there doing what? We know it's Victory Guyana, but can somebody answer that question? Why is Frank Anthony, the Minister of Health, sitting in that courtroom? It's just an opportunity for these guys. Again, I repeat, just an opportunity for these guys to jump on a plane and head off to The Hague. Jump on the plane and head off to The Hague. Let me see here. Operator Lemon just indicated that one of our members, loyal members, right here on 107.1 FM was accidentally blocked. Accidentally blocked. There was someone who was preaching the pro-Venezuelan stuff that Lemon wanted to get off, and one of our loyal members got blocked accidentally. We'll try to fix that later on. So if you guys are in touch with Janet Elias, I believe that's her name, Janet Elias, you can indicate to her that she was accidentally blocked. We'll have our operator try to correct that. So we apologize to Janet Elias. Please message her, for those of you who know her, to let her know that she was accidentally blocked, and we apologize for that. Please let her know. Don't let her start abusing us. So I'm reading some of your comments. You're all happy about this here. We all should be happy. It's a good ruling in favor of Guyana. And I'm wondering whether I should try to get in touch with some folks to see what's happening about the ruling. I don't know, maybe we should get Brenda Casey is saying being out of the country should be a lesson to all Guyanese that the government they install, the corrupt government, is not with them. It's not with them. You know, Maya Motley is not with us. They're just not with us at all. Irfan Ali is all about the money, corruption. Jack Deere is all about the money and corruption and division. That is what they're about. And can you just imagine if the coalition didn't have the wisdom to take this matter all the way to the ICJ? The PPP has been in there for over 20 something years, 23 plus years, and they absolutely never thought of doing that. Sorry about that. So we are where we are right now. So what Maya Motley decided to do now, she decided to put on some pampers on this guy by claiming to have given him, what is it, the highest Barbados highest national award or honor or something like that. For what? You know, there's no reason behind that. There's no sound reasoning. He hasn't done anything proper. You know, he hasn't done anything proper. So I don't know what's the reason for that. I absolutely, I just don't know what's the reason for that.
Not a blade of grass. We love the open country. The Roman way. And the escape boat. This hammer and iron. We may criticize it. This is a home we love. And we need to keep it. We have that right. No, we ain't giving up no money. We ain't giving up no tree. We ain't giving up no river. That belongs to me. Not one Dosaki. Not one rice bread. Not one corral.
All right, welcome back. You guys heard what's happening there. And with us right now is the leader of the opposition and leader of the People's National Congress Reform, Member of Parliament, Mr. Aubrey Norton. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mark.
Yeah. Can you briefly, I know you probably spent a few minutes listening to the ruling there, basically telling Venezuela and Maduro to relax on that frivolous referendum and nothing to provoke the situation until the final outcome. What is your take on this just concluded ruling?
Well, we are happy that the ruling would have come in our favor. The opposition supported taking the matter to the ICJ for provisional measures because we have substantive case before the court. And we had anticipated this outcome because everything that Venezuela put in that referendum violates international law and violates what should be a common agreement between the parties in this situation. And so we welcome the decision, and we are looking forward now to the final decision, which should establish that the arbitral award of 1899 would have been a perfect and final settlement of the territory called Guyana.
Thank you so much. And I know it's an impromptu call, but even as you are currently in Guyana and other members of your party are in Guyana
in fact, I'm in Essequibo. I'm on the Essequibo coast meeting people.
Absolutely. You're on the Essequibo coast. The leader of the opposition is in Guyana. He's doing his thing. How do you feel that at this point in time, two of those guys, Irfan Ali and Jack Deere, are currently out of the country, not showing much interest? What's your take?
Well, it's not only out of the country, is their inability to even suggest to us why they're there. I didn't mind if it was a case where they were pursuing this issue, the Guyana-Venezuela territorial controversy, and they were taking time to deal with it. But it is essentially a climate conference. While the climate is important, others could have gone. The fact that they haven't chosen to at least say to the public that they will deal with the Guyana-Venezuela territorial issue makes it very contemptuous of the people of Guyana, because one would have thought they would have been here for this ruling is one, and two, with the referendum scheduled for Sunday, the place to have been was Guyana.
The place to have been Guyana. The leader of the opposition, Aubrey Compton Norton, on the phone with us. And I'd like to throw in a final something, calling a member of parliament, Cathy Hughes, has been called a lowlife by Barrett Jack Deere. Let's get your take on that quickly, please, sir. And finally.
Well, it's more a manifestation of Barrett Jack Deere lack of class. I've long argued that Barrett Jack Deere, when confronted with facts and the need for proper analysis, resorts to abusing out, etc. So this is vintage Barrett Jack Deere, and it should be condemned by all Guyanese, especially our women, who should know that it is disrespectful for him to say what he would have said of Cathy Hughes, but then he has had a history of disrespect to women.
Guyanese are at ease right now. A lot of them, especially overseas, they're concerned about their loved ones and so forth. Mr. Norton, I know you're busy there in the Essequibo, and thank you for being out there with the people at this time. But what is your message to those who are so deeply concerned about the situation in Guyana, and especially those who are on the ground? Your message to calm people down at this time, please.
I would say that the first thing Guyanese must recognize is that justice is on our side. The law is on our side. I know that there could be madmen in the world, but I don't believe all the variables will suggest that Venezuela is going to continue to be aggressive at this stage. However, one has to be prepared, because you never know in these things. Generally, my analysis is that they are not likely to invade with the amount of international pressure, but you still have got to leave scope for if the, well, not the impossible, if reason doesn't prevail and then Venezuela does something out of place.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Aubrey Norton, leader of the
Thanks
opposition.
for having me.
Good. Thank you. Have a good day. Leader of the opposition there, Aubrey Compton Norton, on the phone. He's in Essequibo. Meanwhile, Barrett Jack Deere and Irfan Ali are in Dubai on some climate conference, something that could have been done via maybe Zoom or send somebody else. But no, Jack Deere wanted to be there so that they can run into the king on the sideways, was it the hallways, and pose for photographs. It's more of a photo op, and it's more as to see what amount of monies that they can grab. That's what they're about. They're not concerned about Guyana. They should be in Essequibo right now. But look where Aubrey Norton is, the leader of the opposition. He's in Essequibo. Look where others may be, in Essequibo. But look where Frank Anthony is, in The Hague, out of the country. Other ministers of the regime are out of the country. Who could be more unpatriotic than these guys? Sorry about that. We seem to be having some technical or blackout difficulties back and forth in Guyana. But they are out of the country. Jack Dave is out of the country. Irfan Ali is out of the country. A set of other Pakus are out of the country. The minister, Frank Anthony, we saw him there in the court. I don't know how many of you recognized him, but he was there. What was he doing there? What was the need for him to be there? Was there any need for him to be there? I doubt that. Who else we can get for a quick comment? You guys help me out with this here, because we need to hear from some other folks. If we ever get them on the line, why not? To get a sense as to how people are feeling about this situation here. Just to get a sense as to how people are feeling about this particular situation. This is a Guyana. It is a good ruling, a really, really good ruling. So we'll try to get some other folks. We are in touch with Mr. Lincoln Lewis. He is the leader of the Guyana Trades Union Congress, veteran trade unionist. He's the general secretary of the Guyana Trades Union Congress. We'll try to get a quick comment concerning the ruling moments ago that the court has ruled that Venezuela should stop being provocative, stop provoking the situation, and await the final outcome of the matter that is currently before the court concerning Venezuela's claim. Mr. Lewis, good morning, and what's your take on the ruling, sir? Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mark.
Yeah, the court has just ruled that Venezuela should stop provoking the situation through a referendum.
Hello?
Yep, the court has just ruled that Venezuela should stop provoking the situation and await the final outcome of the court matter. Are you surprised that the court ruled and basically in favor of Guyana that Venezuela?
Well, I don't believe it's ruled in favor of Guyana. I see it's a question of the ruling is in favor of justice and fair play in society. You cannot want to have a matter in the courts asking the court to adjudicate, and yet at the same time you are taking the position that you are going to move to have unilateral decisions on the same issue. I believe what the court is doing has done is to rule in favor of what is just and fair. Societies are run by laws. So the hearts and minds of the judges. You cannot at the same time doing as if you will not, or put the mechanism in place not to respect the decisions of the court. It is, you have agreed that whatever process you have agreed on, they have agreed on the process, both sides, where they have given the authority to the Secretary General of the UN to refer it to an appropriate authority to have it concluded, and they have done so. that has been done in the spirit and intent of the agreement. The UN Secretary General has acted. The matter is before the court. I believe both sides need to sit down and wait for the decisions, rather than one side taking a position that unilaterally, regardless of what you see, I am going to work. The world don't run like that. Rules are made to regulate or to empower or to cause the weak from being manipulated or bullied by the strong and mighty, and that is what the court has done, to say, look here, you may be strong, you may be mighty, but then these are the rules of, which we all will have to abide by. So the question is not, as I said earlier, it is not about Guyana, it is about what is just and fair in society.
Thank you for that, Lincoln. But even as we speak, the head of the regime, Mr. Jagdeo, and Mr. Irfan Ali are currently out of the country at this time. What is your take on that?
You know, that's another story. You know, let me tell you something. I do not believe that the leaders or political leaders have the finger on the pulse, understanding how society see them and how society reacts to certain things. And this is because we live in a society where people are afraid to express their opinions to people who are in privileged and powerful position. They always tell them things that they would like to hear. Those people who are in the positions. You know, I've been on the street this morning. I went to the laundry and people talking about they're making a joke. The president and the vice president. The people who see themselves, who they have reposed confidence in, they are out of the country at this critical time. I went to the supermarket and people talking to me about it. You know, people who know me, but I may not have known them. They feel emboldened that they can tell me how they feel about what is being done. These guys are callous. They don't care. They don't care. The question is that they have not reposed the confidence. They are not at this juncture when it requires you reposing confidence in the citizenry to stand united. You have run away to a conference that maybe one of them could have gone to and not to. Everybody knows that the prime minister can't make no decisions. The man who makes the decision is Jagdeo. And Ali will try, but if Jagdeo feel to turn it over, he will turn it over. That's the problem that we have. Everybody knows that, and people are talking about it. It is something. It is insensitive. It is a carefree behavior. You know, and Mr. Ali got to stop and think. Every month he's out of this country. And sometimes in something that so we have to jog the rope on them. I don't expect everybody will come out and say they're in agreement. But I don't expect everybody to do the same things we are doing. But we have, well, what I'm saying to you, Mark, we who are fearless enough, we should be jockeying the rope on them. These guys have to stop it. They got to stop this behavior.
Thank you so much in jockeying the rope at them. I love that sort of action. But quickly before we go, Mr. Lewis, what is your take on this whole calling? And I know you've dealt with it before, but the calling of an MP a low life, a female MP a low life by Barra Jagdeo, a low life.
While I'll be coming to talk to, I'm doing a commentary. Within the next 24 hours, I'll do a commentary on it. But I can tell you, when you talk with Lula, you got to talk with Mr. Jaglio. You understand me? Because as vice president, the names that he intend to call people and the labels he intend to, it's only a man who thinks in the gutter behave like that. And let me go on to tell you that the mainstream media not tolerate, they embolden this man. Because when people respond to him in like manner, they don't publish it. They publish these nasty things that Mr. Jack will say about people, but they don't publish when people reciprocate the same type of treatment to him. Will one expect him to know better? We don't. He has been around so long, and he has not changed. It is indicative that he don't know better, and he can get better. We have to do something about it. I'm saying to you that it is bad, and I would have expected the women and the party that she comes from should have been more vocal and critical and stand on the road against this man. This guy is obnoxious. Can walk around, and I'm saying again, let me repeat it. Mainstream media. The only thing that the media does for us is to help us to understand each day what man is. Because every time, once or twice in a week, they turn up and listen to this guy. Right? And none of them prepared to hold him accountable for what he said. Something has to be done. We must say without fear or favor, that is damn bad. And Jack, you must be told about it.
Absolutely. Before we allow you to go, Mr. Lewis, Malcolm Harry Paul was arrested for saying that the PPP supporters, the Indian side of the PPP supporters, should join the military, because it is the same military men and women that they want the PPP, that the leaders of the PPP want to go and fight at the border, are the very people that they have insulted, they have neglected, and they gave the bulk of their contracts and their forestry concessions and gold mines to non-African Guyanese. So let those who have been benefiting over the years with billions upon billions of dollars, let them go and fight. Malcolm Harry Paul was arrested and probably will be charged with incitement to commit some racial incitement. What is your take on this latest development, falling on the heels of the beating up?
I just want you to understand something. What Harry Paul is saying, it is a public secret. People are saying the same thing. Last week Friday morning, myself and a colleague, we parked in Carmichael Street and was going to the bank in Water Street. And by the time we get to the back, there were 9 persons who stopped us, and all of them making mockery about this thing and to say about this border issue. And they're seeing it, all these people are seeing it is either in a racial or a political context. Don't know how people seeing it. People saying, I can't get, as one guy said to me, just at the corner of Fogarty's there, he said to me, Mr. Lewis, is now they want people to go to the border to fight Maggie Ouslat now. What happened? They saw Ouslat before. And we're sending to the border, I don't know if you're coming back, so where my family gonna build. Right? He said, everybody deserves a Ouslat as a citizen of this country. under the conditions that his house lots are being distributed, right? So what Harry Paul is saying is not, it is something, it's a view in society. Because this is the government that says that if they had won the election, if they didn't win the election, it was in 2015, and they said these soldiers and the police are going to come. The young people escape their family. The people who walk, they chant it. So now what Harry Paul is doing is just repeating the reaction to what you have said. But why is it that every time somebody speak on the truth on the face? That's why I'm saying that these guys are not conscious of how people see them on the ground. What they're doing is abusing their privilege. They're abusing.
Thank you so much for your time this morning, Lincoln. I know you have your own situation there at Critchlow Labor College, where a tenant there called the police on you guys, and the police assisted them. What I saw in the video, the police assisted a tenant at Critchlow Labor College who was in arrears of probably in excess of $1 million. They decided to move out in the middle of the night, and they called the police to assist them in moving out. I don't know. Do you want to touch on that, or is that for some other time?
Let me say to you, Mark, what has happened? This guy more than $1 million. What he did, he waited until we left office yesterday, office closed and everything, and he came with 2 cans after that. Moved off. I learned, and I came back. I parked my car in the driveway, and I went to him and I asked him for Critchlow's money. And he said, "You have money for Critchlow." But we have the evidence. By then, they were calling police. I said, "It's my car, and are you losing?" I told them, I said, "It's Darren Wade, who is a attorney in the matter." Darren was there, and Darren said to them that this is a private matter. He said, "This is after 10 miles and 10." And so how we get involved? They advised them to lift all the desks and chairs and everything and lift them over the fence, pass them over the fence, and put them on the road. So during that period, they were calling the police. I don't know, they have been calling and asking, and a man, the police officer who we have been dealing with at the higher levels or something, telling me what's right. They've been talking to that person all the time, over the conversation they've been talking about. Yeah. I don't know,
Well, whatever.
It reached to the point where the inspector from from Breakdown Police Station came down to talk with us. This is a landlord and tenant issue. The police station that is involved, that covers this area
Albert
is
Tom.
Albert Tom, but yet the inspector from thing came down from breakdown, which is indicative there is something fishy. There is something fishy about this entire involved the police.
Fishy.
And it is something that I've been not only will we that will be dealing with this matter, but I'll go outside of that to really find out something fishy down here. They have left with they have not given us our money, but you learn from these experiences, you know, man. There are people who come to you and they talk about brotherhood, but they don't believe in brotherhood. They come to con people, right? We have to change some things to have people to account from the beginning. It's bad. I'm not prepared to leave this. I'm not going to leave it like this.
Thank you so much, Joe, for that. Thank you for that update.
I have to humiliate
Yeah.
a businessman in this town. I'm going to do it. You have to do it to him.
Thank you. Thank you for giving us.
I found out this.
Thank you for giving us an update on that matter. It's questionable that the police will intervene in a matter and even assisted the people in moving out of the premises without paying their rent, according to what we're hearing. But thank you so much for your time, Mr. Lewis. We appreciate you being here with us as always. God bless.
Happy days. Have a happy weekend.
Thank you, sir. Same to you. All right, Lincoln Lewis there, the General Secretary of the Guyana Trades Union Congress. The latter topic. Had tenant. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm not sure what's happening with our connection. Probably some technical problems at our end. So do forgive us. We're trying our best. Please, again, do forgive us. We're trying our best. So Malcolm Harry Paul was arrested. We're not sure what the situation is with him. We've been monitoring to ensure that all is well with Mr. Harry Paul, a vindictive move by the PPP regime. Note, this is something that came to mind, and the PPP has a history. In the late 1980s, 88, 89, or maybe 90 sometime then, the history of the PPP is they like to use, and let me just repeat this here, and I hope some of them are listening. The PPP has a history of using Indian Guyanese in the military to attempt to overthrow of members of the I think about 4 or 5 of them, Chicken Rohan and all these other guys, Balaram Prasad, who later became deputy police commissioner or assistant commissioner of police. Balaram Prasad was charged with treason. He was a serving member of the Guyana police force. And then you had Chicken Rohan, and then you had some other guys who were active members, all East Indian Guyanese. They were all active members of the Guyana Defense Force. And so they were all members of the PPP also. And so they teamed up, according to the allegations, mind you, they teamed up with the PPP and they were training men with guns and all these sort of things to overthrow. That's according to the charges, mind you. Because there's one guy that is close with them now too, Senasi, a member of the Guyana Defense Force. And mind you, these were the allegations leveled against them. They were charged with treason. And so what the PPP does is they use these Indian Guyana, especially the brothers, not necessarily to fight the country. That's not how the PPP sees fight for the country. That's not how the PPP sees them. The PPP looks at them basically as an opportunity to use them to benefit the PPP. I've mentioned Chicken Rohan, Sanasi, Balram Prasad, Assistant Commissioner of Police, who has since passed away. And all those guys were charged with treason. Balram Prasad, a serving member of the Guyana Police Force who was charged with treason, when the PPP got into office, well, Jagan was actually forced to pardon them, to remove them from prison. And Balram Prasad was immediately reinstated into the Guyana Police Force. He was reinstated, and for all of those times he was back there in the Guyana Police Force. He made it all the way up to the rank of Assistant Commissioner of Police, Balram Prasad. And I recall even Balram Prasad was an inspector, and then later ASP and these sort of things. He was actually putting handcuffs on me, taking me to court on charged with treason, training, and all these things. To send people in the office of the but it was kind of weird that a man who spent maybe a year or 2 years in prison for actual treason acts, mind you, based on the allegations. But I must say that later on, Balram Prasad and I, I wouldn't say we became friends, but he was very sympathetic. Very sympathetic. At his house, he basically apologized. And some of the other things I'll just remain private for now. But there seem to have been lots of apologies after my release. Police officers apologized. People at the DPP chambers apologized. Judges apologized. I don't know, for some reason they just thought that they should just apologize to me. I don't know if they thought I was going to get really, really angry and turn the country up. I'm a peaceful guy. I don't know, but lots of them apologized. Lots and lots of them apologized. Even Priya Manikchan apologized. In tears, she apologized at Nigel's supermarket. I remember. So I'm not, it's not propaganda. Lots of them apologized. Some strange reason, again, I don't know if Civic, I don't know if they thought that what was my mindset back then. Good evening, good morning to all of you guys. Let's stay away from that for a moment from that. But those of you who know Janet Elias, just please, again, I notice our operator sent another note. We just want to apologize. We don't like to block people who are sensible commentators or in the audience. And so please tell Janet Elias that we really, really apologize for doing that. What else is on your mind? And I just try to get in touch with Mr. Malcolm Harry Paul. I'm not sure again whether he's out of the lockups or not. I just don't know. But we'd love to know that our brother in the struggle, Malcolm Harry Paul, he is a brother in the struggle. And we want to ensure every brother or sister in the struggle we have to look after. I I want to get a comment from a female now as to how they feel about this whole Venezuela situation. And we are seeing it being badly handled by the regime. Let me see if we can get a quick comment from a female here.
Miss Raymond.
Good morning, Miss Raymond. Good morning. How are you, ma'am? You're live on the air.
A very good morning, sir. How are you, Mark?
I am great. I can't complain. So the ruling basically is in on the side of justice, as Lincoln Lewis just said, but it's in favor of Guyana, mainly saying the court is saying to Venezuela, stop provoking the situation until the final outcome of the actual case, which was brought to the ICJ by a sensible government. That's the coalition government. Your take on what's going on, please, ma'am.
As far as I'm concerned, to all the listeners, good morning. And I would like to say, listen, it's greed on Venezuela part, that Guyana, Venezuela belongs to Guyana, Essequibo Island. Because of Guyana now having oil, it's just that they're provoking the situation. Our former president, the executive president of Guyana, LFS Burnham, has indicated that years and years ago, and had handled it and had the opposition Chedi Jagan participate in every decision and handle that situation very wisely and intelligently. However, I want to made it clear that as far as I know, as a little child, and everyone knows that Guyana, Essequibo belongs to Guyana. The present regime, however, has sit and idle and encouraged the lawlessness of having Venezuela want to intrude in our country, our beloved Essequibo Island, which has all been part on the map of Guyana. What nonsense, and why are they encouraging any topic at all? The rule of law has indicated that Guyana, Essequibo is part of Guyana. Therefore, why is it that this PPP regime does not have and included all involved to make a formed decision? They are traveling everywhere else, not including the people of Guyana to have a proper say. They should have had an inclusive meeting and an inclusive discussion. They're not having the people of Guyana and not briefing the people what is going on. All I wanted to say to you today, Guyana is part, Essequibo is part of Guyana. There's a map. All school children, everyone know that when they drew the map, it is Essequibo is part of Guyana. There's no ifs, no buts, no doubt, no question. Our regime has causes this decision on their own and not including the people or the right people to make decision. Yes, you can have the overseas, you can have international intervening, but when and how they are sitting there and not educating their people. As we can see, they can talk what they like about Burnham. As you know, not a blade of grass. He made it very clear. And all from each and every person in Guyana, living person would know that song. Not a blade of grass.
Thank you. You know, Miss Raymond, that is so correct. Not a blade of grass, indeed. You were there during the Burnham time, during the Essequibo claim, and especially when that song came out, not a blade of grass indeed. President Burnham handled this situation well compared to these guys who hop on a plane and are currently out of the country. How disrespectful is that, what they're doing right now?
It is disrespectful, but what can you say? You can't put a carpenter to do a lawyer's job because they have no, and all of them have doctorate, but there's no certificate. They get their doctorate on paper. You know, you can. How can you have these people and not involve the right set of people to discuss it? Burnham had all inclusive. It's a territory. It is our land. It is our country. It is belongs to the people. All the people. It not belongs to PPP or any party. It belongs to the people. Guyana belongs to. They're saying that is one Guyana like hell. They don't treat the people like one Guyana.
You know,
no.
Miss Raymond, before we go, I know a lot of the PPP supporters are upset. They're walking away from the PPP. You know, Auntie Data out of Essequibo has said this here, and I want you to listen to it, please, Miss Raman.
Yeah, my name is Jacinty Caldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my ex next to the cop. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.
You heard Auntie Data said that if they have to lose by one vote, they will have to lose by Auntie Data, the PPP. Lots of PPP supporters are walking away from them. Are you surprised?
No, I'm not surprised. And there are many, many more like Auntie Data. The only reason that they're not coming out and speak out like Auntie Data is because they're fear. They're fear of their life. They're fear of threatening. There are many ways. Let me tell you this, Mark. I had experience and I know it. And I don't care. And I'm like Auntie Data. These people are very cruel. They're very cruel and they're very vicious. They are paint Guyana that black people are bad. But let me tell you, those are the people that is in Guyana that causes a lot of viciousness. I mean, if you look back, Auntie Data realized, at least she wise and came out and speak out. And you have to give her that for bravery, because many people are fear. And let me tell you, there are many people are walking away and they're talking that this government is so good. Guyana got oil and everything else. Why all the Guyanese that is overseas and in many places working in the islands and everywhere, Canada, America, the UK, why are they not going back? If it is so good, black out and black out and black out. People are starving and you go down the East Coast, even Barby's own area. Go walk in the village, see how people are living, see the and they're now living in a luxury life. During the Burnham time, they can talk what they like. We didn't have oil. We didn't have the resources as we got today. We don't get the support. U.S. and everybody's supporting Guyana to AIDS and all kind of funds going into Guyana. And look at it today. Look at the resources that they have. Look at the roads. Look how the people are punishing. You can't tell me black out and all kinds of things. Food expensive. You go to the market, the pensioners, the money that they get in, they cannot survive. It is difficult. People are starving. They're just eating the little things that they get and to make much. And they cannot talk. You talk, you be victimized. Let me tell you, in the days of Burnham, no matter what it cost, people used to have food. They eat. You can go to anyone's home and have food. Now you gotta call and see if you can get anything. You're not getting anything. It is not like before. It's survival. It's just pretending they are living a luxury life. Look how they're traveling. Look how they're eating. Look how they have bodyguards. How many bodyguards? How many this? How many that? And they're living the luxury life off of the people. People are not important today. They can talk what they like, and I would say it I can say it free and freer. Cherry Jagan had worked for Guyana, and so was Burnham. He had care for the people. Not what we have today. All of their pocket, look at the pocket. Look at the luxury life they live in. You remember how Cherry Jagan lived? And they can talk. Yeah? They talk about their own party people. People are talking now. People are afraid for their lives to speak out. But people are now have social media. And as soon as you remember Waddle, how Wallace started to speak out of Guyana, what they did, they assassinated him. You remember the Bacchus brothers? How they assassinate them? One by one, Kwame Ewing. As soon as they speak out, they've been assassinated or killed one way or another. And many people know this. This is why they're not coming out to speak. And I have to give Auntie Data kudos. She came out and she speak out. And there are many more like her. If they have a snap election now, they lose. They lose. The people are fed up. They're fed up. All they're doing, they're thieving. They cannot. They cannot give account for anything that they do. They're thieving the money. Guyana being one of the countries that recognized for the richest, rich country. But now, what can we say? It's the poorest because of how they're running the country and how they no involvement, no inclusiveness. They don't care about the people, Mark. They don't. And for me, yeah.
Let me ask you this with regards to what you've said. They've assassinated Ronald Waddle, Courtney Crummy Wing. They murdered the Bacchus brother, Shafiq, and the other Bacchus as a result of exposing the death squad and the connection with the death squads and Ronald Gadraj and other members of the PPP. So they sought to go out and kill them, murder them almost immediately. We're seeing a return of this viciousness of the PPP, by the PPP. Look at what happened to Brian McIntosh recently. He was almost murdered, beaten badly with a baseball bat. Of course, all blame points in the direction of the PPP. And look at what has happened now recently also to Malcolm Harry Paul being arrested for saying things that all of us already know, that the PPP doesn't treat the members of the Guyana Defense Force with any sort of respect, and that for the most part, our Indian brothers and sisters do not go and join the military because of what was said to them many, many years ago. Don't join the army, don't join the police force. What is your take on all of that, including the arrest of Malcolm Harry Paul?
Let me tell you, I know Malcolm Harry Paul as a young child growing up and everything else. I know Malcolm. Malcolm's father was a headmaster in Canal. Malcolm's father was a strong PPP member. Malcolm himself. And look at the way they treated Malcolm. Because you know what? They're embarrassed, they're ashamed when Indian people, black people, we know they're killing them. But Indian people, they don't want them to come out and speak out against them. And for that, no matter what happened, they will. You remember Freddie Kissoon? How now Freddie Kissoon? Freddie Kissoon now back in PPP is laughable. He always talked bad about Burnham. Let me get on this one. He always talk about Burnham this, Burnham that, Burnham kill people, Burnham this. At least Burnham did throw feces in his face. He did throw a turd in his face, a turd mean doo-doo in his face. He didn't clean a trench and left half of it right in front of him. Clean everywhere and leave it. Ungrateful bastards. Ungrateful. Many of them. As to the assassinations, let me tell you, I'm not surprised, and you should not. You know what it did to you, Mark. Throw you in jail. Had your son, I'm very sorry, son died. You could not even be there. Your wife, your children, leave them there. You were incarcerated for 5 years without, and what? You got free. And many more like you were in incarceration and got free. I'm choking. Take a moment. People, listen to me. Look back. You have the people from Linden. Oh my God, you want to know? Go to Buxton. And they have they're like rice on the street, Mark. How can we forget those days? 2008, all the they're eating from the bins in Guyana. Y'all don't want to see that. Y'all don't want to know that. Right now, we have oil. People are punishing. People are begging. Look at all, take a survey and look at all the people that assassinate in Guyana, all the murderers, all the murderers. And they talk about Burnham and the other leaders of the PNC. To hell with it. You can't erase history. History is there for you to see. Only you don't want to see it. Put a blindfold. To hell with it. Oh my God. More people will come out because today, social media, people are speaking out. Brian speaking out. Look at Glenn speaking out. Everybody, oh my God, like names are coming right now to me. As I can see, it is so hurtful. It is so, but my opposition leader also, I have to blame them because they have these people sitting there and getting away with a lot of stuff. As to Jagdio, he is ruling the country and not Irfan Ali. I don't know how Irfan can allow this nonsense to go on. Suffering the people. People are suffering.
Reaction here. I'm sorry about that, guys. We having some internet issue. After this program, I'll have to go and take a better package of my internet. I took the cheap one. But on the serious note, I'm glad that Ms. Raymond is saying what she has said. What message? Because you have been a PNC member practically all of your life. You're a Burnhamite, regardless of what. And I'm glad that you've mentioned moments ago that all they can talk about Burnham, they cannot walk in his shoes, because under Jack Deere, there were 10 times or 100 times more murders, people who were assassinated, who were killed, who were wrongfully incarcerated, charged with treason. Outside of myself, there were 3 other persons, including a woman who was shackled. For
That's
over
correct.
a year, she was shackled in her cell. So Jack Deere and the PPP don't have any foot to stand on, so to speak. But what is we are seeing a lot of PPP supporters, mainly our Indian brothers and sisters, are walking away from the PPP. Not just Antidata, but thousands of them are walking away from the PPP. What message do you have as a PNCR supporter, as someone from Indian background? What message do you have for our fellow Indian brothers and sisters in Guyana who are being punished under the PPP regime?
My people, let me tell you this. You look back, you do your own assessment like Antidata. Antidata could not take it anymore. And many of you, I believe, and I'm certain, cannot take it anymore. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Speak out, especially when you go to vote. When you vote in, is you put in your X. Is you alone in that box put in your X. Let your conscience be your guide. Let it be. Don't look because you're Indian. You are compelled to vote for the PPP. Vote your conscience. Vote because you have to live with it. Let me tell you, I left out earlier. You remember the Amerindians in Maja that the fire?
The little kids,
until today, I was there. I saw. If you see those people that burned, it's like burning paper. If you see it, they clear up all the evidence that was on that tarmac that left. Nothing for those people. People are suffering. They made Nandalal went there. I stayed quiet, but I was waiting. Nandalal went there and actually with other people, and they asked the people to sign for $5,000. $5,000 after we went in and we spoke to the people, they went in and offered them more money. Until now, those people didn't get any justice. And this civilization of our nation, they should have a proper exit, fire exit, have a smoke alarm, have fire equipment, nothing. And until this day, where is the opposition? Where is the opposition on this? I'm calling on them on every institution, school, everywhere should at least have a smoke detector. If they have fire, and more people born, more incidents happen. It is sad when you look at those parents. Do you know, Mr. Benchop, let me tell you, I was there. You know what happened? They gave them a child, not their own child, because they were so burnt to unrecognized. Everybody get a child and say, this is yours, this is yours. Is that your child? But they bury them to say, just a name that the child is there. How unfaithful, how heartless can this government be? What assistance have they give to those people that have survival? They need proper counseling. They need help to get over these things. If you listen to the stories of those people, Amerindian people, Burnham give the Indians holiday, recognize them, give them national holiday, put them on the calendar. Why can't they not help those Amerindian people, give them a proper life? Help them, help all the people. You go to Albay Town, you go everywhere and see how black people punishing. See how it's a country. People, listen to me. This is a government of racists. This is a government who think about themselves and not the people. When you go to the poll, I'm saying, do not exercise your rights by not stifling your conscience. It is not about race. It's about a country. It's about you. It's a look at the United States. Look at everywhere. They don't look at that. They vote for who can function. People, Guyana belongs to us. The people, you have all the rights. The leaders, we put them in office to work for you. They're being paid to work for you, not for themselves.
You know, I want to ask this quick question as we look at the time and we say good morning to all of you who are now joining us. It's 34 minutes after 11 o'clock in Guyana. Of course, the time is different. And the court ruled that Venezuela should stop provoking Guyana and not go ahead with that December 3rd referendum. What is your take, Ms. Raymond? And I reminded the folks that you were you're a former member of parliament as well. What is your take on this recent gutter slinging of Jack Deere? Because he's always in the gutter, by describing Cathy Hughes as a lowlife.
Can you imagine that Jack Deere called in, misuse Cathy Hughes a lowlife? Let me tell you, I don't know what Mr. Hughes will do. For me, I will put a good lawsuit on him, because as far as I'm concerned, he knows himself is a lowlife. And what do you expect of Jack Deere to say? Because do you remember how he treated his wife? A decent woman. She came from a very decent family. I know the whole family. I know Chandy Singh, her brother. I know them from London, England. I know the whole family. Prashini was not treated very well by Jack Deere. He is the one who called a low class, treated that woman with no respect, no dignity, used her. After marriage for the 5 years he was in office, he just used her. And then when he go back for the second year, he play as if he nice and nicey with her. And as soon as he got him back for the second year in office, bam, he discussed. He said he divorcing her. Jack Deere have no respect for women. Let me tell you, he have no respect for himself. He have no respect for nobody. Nobody. But what he can say and lie to the people. As far as I'm concerned, he's been disrespectful. And I will tell you, there's nothing better from Jack Deere, because he does know better. He don't know better. And Jack Deere, you must remember, PNC help you. When you study, you come back, PNC give you job. PNC help you. Many of you get free education under PNC. Under the same Burnham where you are prevent from getting an award. All of you, Burnham help. You get free education from nursery to university. And you know what? In those days, Burnham give you, forget every school had milk and biscuit for the children. So everyone, did they say black people children alone? All the people were getting milk and biscuit. So y'all could talk. People, black people, African Guyanese in Guyana, you guys have to look up and know your history. Know your history. Indian people, don't stifle your conscience. Don't. It is true. Today, technology, you can look it up, you can see. Many people in Jack Deere, they were little. They don't know. They don't even know Burnham. Children born now in Indian home is because of the hate. They planted hate in their children who don't know Burnham. They don't know the history. But you ask them about Burnham, Oh my God, that man is so bad. The worst president Guyana got like hell. The worst president we have is now. And Jagdio. Jagdio is I want to call names, but oh God, heaven's sake.
Call names.
People.
Call names. It's all right. Call a name. Mataram, Katahar, Korhi, Chamar, Chatri, whatever. You know, but Miss Raymond, a lot of people, and I'm glad that you made the point, because Burnham tried to ensure, and he did everything within his political powers to ensure that all of the peoples of Guyana live in harmony with each other. These people who paint Burnham as a racist, these ill-informed people who paint him as a racist, are they aware that all of the holidays, the Hindu holidays and so forth and so on, came about as a result of the same man they call a racist? You just mentioned free education from nursery to university, and it's the PPP who took away free education at the university level. Do they know of these things, or are they just playing dead?
This is why I said they should go back to history. And you know, one of the history you should know, Burnham had a cabinet, and his cabinet people, they were all well-educated people. They were all Indians with him. So if you want to blame Burnham, you gotta blame them Indians who were with him and advising him. He had Sonny Rampal, he had Ranjit Chandji Singh, he had Chorit Mutu, he had Maitland Singh, he had Sriram Prasad, he had Shahabuddin, a real intelligent man. He had Seth Narayan, he had Kami Ram Sarup. Oh my God, like even the amount of Indians, all those were ministers, and well, they're not lagu, like you just say now, they're not lagu bagus, they were well intelligent people, well respected people with brains. They didn't buy their certificate, they studied and they got it. They were well-educated people. Look at Shabadi, look at Sonny Rampal. Oh my God, Chandji Singh walk away from them. Maitland Singh. You had T.K. Singh, when they're blaming everybody that we killing, they kill him. And you know what? I'm going to say this bold here today, Mark. Bold. You know, many people are saying and blaming up to today. I want David Hines to hear this. And even all the WPA people who blame Burnham for assassinating, and even Hamilton Green and all of them for assassinating Rodney. Let me tell you, they use Rodney. Mark, you were a little boy.
They who? When you said they,
Rodney.
They who?
The PPP used Rodney. They could not get Burnham out. The international people supported Burnham for his intelligence and his insight for how he had been the best president Guyana ever had. So because of that, they used a black man to go after Burnham. To go after Burnham. You coming in a country and trying to accumulate weapons to assassinate the president and taking over the country. He worked hard to go against Burnham, but they use him. But you know what? Surprise! Walter Rodney was getting popular. And Burnham was more popular. So they could not get Burnham out. So who would have been in the opposition seat? It would have been Walter Rodney and not the PPP. So who had more motive? Who had more motive to get rid of Walter Rodney? Answer me that. People, I leave you with that little note. Think of it. Who had more motive to get rid of Walter Rodney. Walter Rodney would have been the opposition leader. Chetty would have been out of that seat. That can't happen by. We got to do something. We got to do something. And they did something. Just like they did with Kwame. That they did with the with all of those that they assassinated Kwame.
Wing and and Saw and Ronald Waddle and so forth and so on.
Even Saw, the minister, thank you. Because he speak out. Because he said what y'all doing is wrong. What if they don't care about our own people? Much more people like you, Mark. And others are like me.
Do you remember, because it's always fresh, how they insult members of the military, that they're going to kick down doors, they're going to rob people, and all manner of things Jack David said about the military?
Oh, yes.
Are you surprised now that they're running to the same military to defend them?
Exactly. And you watching the army, listen, I am telling you, because I sent children to join the army and the People's Militia and National Service. You know what they used to tell the people? Do you know Nagrimutu wife served in the National Service? Yes. But they had many Indian people. They were saying to the Indian people, don't go and join the National Service, People's Militia, or the army, because you know what? Them black man will take advantage of your daughter. Them black man will take advantage of your daughter. They discourage the people. They had very few people that was joining the army, Indian people, because they don't want them. And today, yes, Mark, I'm glad you brought it up. Today is the black people, children, got to go to the border, who are in the army, to defend Guyana and defend the Indians.
Malcolm Harry Paul said just that, and they surrounded Malcolm's house. They don't like to hear the truth. When they're confronted by the truth, they panic and they try to silence people.
Because Malcolm was in the army. Very few. Malcolm was in the army, so Malcolm know, and Malcolm know the truth. Malcolm was a PPP. His father was a listen to me carefully, die-hard PPP. So Malcolm know what he's talking about. He's like Auntie Data. He know what he's talking about.
Do you recall the same thing Malcolm is saying now is no different than what he said when he was with Roar, Ravi Dev, and the PPP loved them then, urging Indian Guyanese to join the army and the police force.
Exactly. Mark that double standard. I don't even know the double. But let me tell you, people, how can you stifle your conscience to know? Look at all the murder, the massacre that happened in Guyana. The most recent one is like those people were dying like rice in that hole and you can't even get them out. One worker was there to serve those children. You take them and lock them up. All these things are wrong. Tell me, the people living in the murder the children because they're speaking out. How many children? All on the street every day you're picking up children. Albai's tongue was painted with blood. You can't walk. Buxton. Let me go back to Buxton, Mark. Give me 2 seconds. Buxton. They set up an army camp. Buxton, man. Remember this. All of you were WPA. Only when you get trouble, then you run to Burnham, PNC. But you were against because you have followed this PPP there because of UC Guyana. Right? Let me tell you, they set up a camp in Buxton The people can't leave their home after 6 o'clock. Before 6, they got to be in their house. Even before then, when people hear gunshot or a tire bursts out on the road, they think it's gun. They're running. Bostonian, you mustn't forget them days. David Hines, you must remind them of that. They bulldozed all the crap, everything they did. What they did to those people there. They had them in prison. Children growing up, they can't even go to school. The lady was running when she heard the gunshot, and she got gone. I'm trying to remember her name. I even help her children. People cannot forget those days. And it's people from other areas used to go into Boston and give it such a bad name. It is not the Bostonian, it's people that was going into Boston and create havoc, running in there to hide.
Agents who worked as agents on behalf of some questionable businessmen, PPP connected businessmen, and so forth. So the story is very huge about that. Miss, one of the things that I want to ask you before we go, and I noticed that you are tickling some of the trench crappos. One of them popped on to now, and this is the sort of propaganda. Suddenly, they're not talking about you. Suddenly, they're saying Ben Sharp doesn't like black people. I am a black man. I of course, with a sprinkle of almost everything, but I am a black man. One of the Kunumunus in the PPP is commenting and saying Ben Sharp doesn't like black people.
Well, Mark, if I should comment on that, I don't want to go into the full details. But let me tell you, I need to remind them that you were there. You were speaking on behalf of the PPP. You actually supported Desmond Height for them. But Mark was good then. Mark was happy. Mark was okay for them because you were doing what they wanted you to do. And they forget that. They're ungrateful, like you call it, kunumunu. Ungrateful people.
Kunumunu indeed.
Yeah.
The position that a lot of young people would take is they want the betterment for all of Guyana. And that's the position that I took without being a member of any political party. That's the position that I took for Guyana.
You know what? However, you were like Auntie daughter. You came to your sense.
The people, and very early o'clock, without taking any cent, even though millions were offered, house lots were offered, I'm not bought. You cannot buy me like that at all. And so you cannot buy me. No political party can buy me. None whatsoever. Not Jack Dale, not anybody. And so
I'm proud of you for that. I'm proud of you for that.
And so we all want the best for Guyana. All want the best for Guyana. Regardless of who is in power, we want the best. But we cannot see anything good under Jack Dale's stewardship. We just cannot. There's nothing good at all. Their racism, covetousness, corruption upon corruption, that is Jack Dale and the PPP. Now, why do you suppose they love to insult Indians who are with the PNC? Why do you suppose they love to do that?
Because they're embarrassed, Mark. They're embarrassed, they're ashamed that to know that their own people or their own race is going against them, and they don't like that. They don't like the exposure. They don't like people to go out there and talk about them. They call them all kinds of names. They call them nasty names. They threaten them. What? When African Guyanese go there, do you think they love them? Do you think they love them? No. Why is it that they can't make a black man the president? Never. Never. They would never. Burnham had Indian people head of his party, Gaukaran Sharma. Head of his party, Gaukaran Sharma. He had the Hindu people He had everybody inclusive. These people don't like the Indian people to speak out on them. This is why you don't even know. When they're killing them, you watch it. They die, many people are dying, and they don't know the cause of death. Do you remember how they only suspected a young little 15-year-old boy? Like I said, I could jump like a rice. Our time is limited. The young little 15-year-old boy, y'all forget how they born his genital? Which human being will do that?
A 15-year-old indigenous little boy by the name of Theon Thomas. And that's what they did to him.
Yeah. So Mark, these are vicious people. They're very vicious. They don't care what they do. They're not going to take responsible for what they do as long as they're able to sit there and be in office and control the people. Our opposition leader and opposition have to be more strong. They got to get up and get. They got to get up and get. You see what it did to this girl, Annette Ferguson. You see what it did to Duncan. As soon as they demonstrated their frustration and speak out the truth, they're ready to lock them up and they put them out of parliament. No pay. They suspend them. But all those thieves, all of them who thief and get charged with 19 charges, all them kind of things, what happened? Our government, Granger did not put them in jail. He didn't put them in jail. Mistake. You see that? You see the difference? Do you see the difference? Look, Mark, I'm telling you, honestly to God, there are many, many more people. My people out there. These Indian people are very, and I won't say all of them. No, let me correct that. Jack Dio for an Indian, very racist. He is a racist. He don't care about you. He don't care about the country. He don't care about the people. All Jack Dio doing is what he wants and how he sees it. You're a tyrant. You are vicious. You are racist. Definitely. The people are seeing it.
Thank you so much for your time. A lot of people don't know that you've had personal interactions with Burnham under the PNC and so forth, and is what you call a diehard PNC. You are a PNC member even before lots of folks were even born. How would you how would you, and for decades, and you remain with the party through thick and thin. I salute you for that.
Yeah.
But how would you describe Burnham as a leader and as a person?
Mark, I can only tell you I'm one person who seen him. But you look at the followers of Burnham. They saw him as an intelligent man. He was way ahead of his time. He was for all the people of Guyana. And you know what? Kit Nascimento, he said Burnham was never a racist. Burnham was never racist indeed. He put national holiday on the calendar for our people, and I say our people in Guyana. They are the ones who have seen Burnham as a tyrant. Let me tell you, when Burnham was making progress, even the economy, they did not give Burnham support. Even the cane, the economy, people are forgetting what they did to Burnham. They did all kinds of things to Burnham. They tried to spread race hate. They tried to create problems. They tried to add Burnham as a survival. God knows. Let me tell you, until now, I am saying, without any fear of favor, Burnham was the most intelligent president Guyana ever had. And until this day, anyone, you cannot erase history. The war leaders had admired Burnham. Burnham had created NIS so that people can get benefit. Now the PPP are using that, using the NIS. Where are you for the people? What are you doing for the people? They thief out the money and they put it on the bridge, on the Maurice Bridge. Burnham, all the things that Burnham had built in Guyana, they tried to destroy it. They tried to demolish of it so that the history cannot. The PNC should make sure that the history and the true facts of Burnham is out there. Should. My people,
one of the
listen
things,
to me carefully.
Go ahead, Ms. Rahman. Sorry, go ahead.
Listen to me. I am telling you, Burnham was never a racist. Was never a racist. He was for all the people of Guyana. It is crystal clear. It is your conscience. Your conscience must be a guide. You must be honest with yourself.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ms. Rahman. You touch on the cane field. A lot of people, especially young people, they don't remember that the PPP and the leadership of the PPP, they were sabotaging Guyana, they were sabotaging the economy by burning the cane field, and the entire country had to depend on the bauxite industry.
Yes.
What was that? What were those days like, burning of the cane field by the PPP?
Oh, it was horrible. It was a lot of cane were destroyed. I mean, it's the economy of the country. We people had to go out there and do volunteer work to cut that cane and to get it there. Many people, it was a horrifying time. I didn't care. I mean, that is to show you how low they will go to do things like that, to destroy and the progress of Guyana. The progress, the economy, you're destroying it to show that not to allow any progress in Guyana to go forward, because they were jealous of Burnham, jealous of what the man was doing. But he was getting by. You heard the story about the flour. They created Burnham to be a monster, to ban in dal, to ban rice. Burnham, let me tell you, banning flour. We know the wheat was a problem with the foreign exchange. It wasn't that because of race Burnham banned flour. We heard Sister Ryan spoke on that. We heard many people spoke on that, and we know for a fact that is not true. And what? The Indians got rich because he encouraged them to plant. He encouraged every guy needs to plant. He threw cassava stick and give them, and everybody was planting. Who get rich out of that? Who he helped? The Demerara Harbor Bridge, because Region 3 was the agriculture area. He built that bridge so that people had crossed. They used to 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning cross by pontoon and boats from canal number 1 and 2 to go to the market. He built that bridge to help who? The Indians to take their produce to the market. And people are talking about this man is a racist. Let me tell you, he helped the people of Guyana. If he had the resources like they have now, oil, tell me, look at what Burnham had built. Look what they have. Look what he have. He had that oil by now. I tell you, Guyana would have been a paradise. It would have been more than a Dubai and all the international country that they have. But what? Where's the oil money going? Where are the people benefiting from? Mark. Burnham was a decent president.
Ms. Rahman, I thank you so much for your time. I thank you for your bravery. I thank you for always standing up for Guyana. And I hope this morning a lot of eyes were open with what you've had to say. Some people, I'm sure they would have been privy to the information, but especially our younger generation. I noticed Maurice Sukraj is saying, and I agree with Maurice here, if Lemon, we can find a comment here from Maurice Sukraj. He's saying that a young man is there sitting with him, listening to this exchange right now, and is asking what has happened to the 20 children that were burned to death and the man that raped the little girl. If all them story dead. Maurice Sukraj is saying it seems so. All the story has died and that's it, because the system isn't working. But as it pertains to the 20 students who died in that fire, there was recently a commission of inquiry where they spent hundreds of millions of dollars, but to this day we can't hear what's the outcome of that commission of inquiry. A waste of time, a waste of taxpayers' money. Ms. Raymond, before we go, your closing remarks, please. In times when Madman Maduro is threatening to attack Guyana, what is your take to calm people down? Because Samgur and Guru Suru jumped on the plane and they're in Dubai right now. They're also known as Kaki and Kaka. They don't care about Guyana. They're unpatriotic. They're treasonous. We've got to stay far from those people. But what are some of the words of comfort you have now for people?
Right now, Mark, I will tell you, we're talking about what is happening in our country. It is very serious. Venezuela threat is very serious to Guyana. And our people within that community, Essequibo and in the interior, people are moving, they're afraid. They're afraid who are willing to protect them. People are leaving their home in abundance by droves, moving out from that area, afraid what will happen by the 3rd of December. And our leaders, our president, and the people who are supposed to be there to protect our people, instead of being there, and both Jack Dio and the president are out of the country. Instead, at least one be there to comfort our people and to make sure that they be on air every day, telling our people, update them of what's happening. No, look where they are. Is the people are important to them? Go back, you should play, Mark, on the Venezuela issue with Burnham, updating the Guyanese people. Listen carefully to Burnham, how he kept his people updated, how he assured the people they will be informed as the days goes by and information comes. And Guyana belongs to all of us. He assured the people they are well secure, that Guyana belongs to us, as is the PPP government assuring the people. Are they there for the people? They have system to dare them.
Absolutely. Well said, Ms. Raman. As we prepare to wrap up this segment, again, Venezuela put a notice that they need to shut up with the rhetoric and stop with the so-called referendum, the fake referendum. Thank you so much for your time, Ms. Benny Raymond. I appreciate it.
Yes.
And so,
yes, thank you.
You know what? One thing you should think about writing a book. You've been there under all the presidents of Guyana, all of them.
Yes.
You have lived through them all. The good ones and the very bad ones. Bad ones, as we are seeing right now. You should write a book.
Even from Arthur Chung coming right down.
Yep. From Arthur Chung to the executive president, because in the change of the constitution in 1980, it switched. But thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
and
Have a good day, a blessed day, and to all the people of Guyana, I love you. I love you. Your president and your the vice president would not say he love you. At this time, you need love and protection.
They're both, Jagdir and Irfan are both Katahars. They are Katahars. And I know a lot of people might want to know what Katahar and Korhi and Chamar and Chatri mean. Katahar, that's what they are, Katahar. Miss Raymond, thank you. You know who you got to give a hug, right? Give that little one a hug for me, please. Should I tell people? Should I announce it? Should I let them know that you have a beautiful little grandma? Beautiful.
Yes, you can.
Congratulations.
I'm very proud.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
Have a great day.
Yeah.
God bless you. Yeah.
Thank you. God bless each and every one of you. And my people, God bless you. Bye-bye. Have a lovely day.
Thank you so much, Miss Raymond.
Bye. Bye.
For you guys.
Yeah,
and,
thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, so that was a very lengthy conversation there with Miss Raman. Some say Raymond and Raman. But thank you all so much. Thank you all so much. I see somebody busy. Y'all must 7 Corey. And these guys just come with these thinking about 7 Corey. Early in the morning, but 7 Corey. Oh man, I've been getting nothing better to talk about with 7 Corey early morning. All right, good morning to all of you who are now joining us. It's a good day, a good ruling from the ICJ. They ruled basically to tell Venezuela to shut up, stay quiet, not to provoke any situation. And one move, you let it harm a mosquito in Guyana. Let Maduro harm a mosquito in Guyana. You better take warning. All right, guys, I'm out of here. And I'll see you guys later on. God bless you. It was a healthy and very long and worthy discussion with Miss Raman. I see some of the trench crappos coming in. They're late. They're abusing bad now. They're abusing bad. They're trying all forms of reverse psychology. Somebody said, Ben Sharp don't like black people. Oh, poor me. Ben Sharp don't like black people. Oh, Karen Caesar Gills. Can you help me with that? Isaac Adams and all of you guys and Simone Blackman and who else? They got Jason Benjamin and Rastaman and Alicia Durant and all of you guys. Oh, are you helping a man? One of the PPP puppet come and said that, oh, poor Mina like black people. Here's the reason why I don't date black girls. These people, they're hanging on straws, every little thing. I don't date black girls. I keep your mouth shut, by Mark. I don't date black girls. These people really don't know me with truth by. Hi, Yaga. Today is Friday, right? Hi, Yaga. Let me go take a Guinness, man. I'll leave these clubs alone. I don't like black people because I don't date black girls. Sorry about that, guys. These people are so funny, man. I'm out of here. And John, if there's any black woman that's listening to the program right now, and why they? I'm just kidding. I'm out of here. God bless you guys, man. Let me just blow you strong black women a kiss out you. Guyana and some of these trench crappos. I'm out of here, guys. See you guys later on. God bless you all. And congrats again. I'm glad that the ruling is in favor, so to speak. Lincoln Lewis said justice for all in favor of Guyana, I say. And I agree with Lincoln as well, too. But Guyana is all of ours, not Venezuela, not Madman Maduro. Not Jack Deere, not Irfan Ali. They're a bunch of clowns. That's what they are. God bless you all. Let me go out and check out some black women. Oops. Bye-bye. We are one people, one nation, one destiny.
We are a peaceful people, struggling, we struggle, and we don't look for trouble, just ask around. But when outside chasing, come following.
At one point of Guyana's western border with Venezuela, the Renamo River flows into the Cuyuni River, and there is an island at this junction called Ankoko Island of about 2 to 3 square miles. According to the map in existence since 1904, the border runs roughly through the center of Ankoko Island from north to south, so that the western part of the island is Venezuelan and the eastern Guyanese. For some time, in fact during last month, a number of Venezuelans were crossing onto the Guyanese side and have since then been carrying out certain works on our territory. The report of this came to the notice of the government a few days ago only, and an inspection party consisting of senior officials and 2 senior police officers visited the island the day before yesterday, Wednesday the 12th of October. This party verified and confirmed the earlier report received through unofficial channels. In the opinion of the government, this intrusion by Venezuelans constitutes a breach of the Geneva Agreement entered into between the governments of the United Kingdom and Venezuela on the 17th of February 1966, to which agreement the government of Guyana is now a party. And today, I have sent a cable to Dr. Iribarren Borges, the Foreign Minister of Venezuela, strongly protesting the intrusion of Venezuelan personnel onto Guyanese territory and asking that immediate steps be taken by the government of Venezuela to ensure the immediate withdrawal of all such personnel. I have this morning informed the leader of the opposition of the situation and held discussions with him. Meanwhile, I await a reply from the Venezuelan government. I consider it my duty to inform the nation of this latest development and to assure you that every step is being taken to retain our territorial sovereignty by peaceful means. Your government proposes to abide by the terms of the Geneva Agreement and is hopeful that the government of Venezuela will do likewise. You are asked to remain calm and to await further information. Long live Guyana.